When Rayla began a romantic relationship with Callum, she did so against the mores of her society and against the teachings of those around her. Humans were the enemy, she was taught. She should kill them because they are manipulative, selfish, and cruel. They do not care about the natural world. They do not care about anyone but themselves. An assassin should be able to strike decisively and without hesitation. She should absolutely not be falling in love with a human, but that is where she is at now. Transcending her biases, she became friends with Callum and realized that despite his dorkiness and his utter lack of athletic ability, he's a skilled and smart and above all compassionate person, someone she can rely upon even when she is at her lowest. Then the two of them went even further, proclaiming their love for each other and stating that they will always be there for each other, even when times are at their hardest. But what will Runaan, Rayla's surrogate father, think of her? More importantly, what will he think of Callum, and what will he think of Rayla's relationship with Callum? It is worth considering, as despite what Rayla initially thinks, Runaan is not dead. He's in Viren's coin, and there is a significant chance that Team Callum frees him from that coin long before the end of the series. Viren has consistently been the most challenging threat to Team Callum, but that is already changing. At the end of Season 3, he loses a decisive battle against an alliance of elves and humans. But the real battle, the one for his soul, is one that he lost far earlier. At one point, he was a decisive and strong and confident leader. You could disagree with what he did, but you could not doubt that he was confident in what he was doing. He truly believed it would benefit humankind. No such reassurances exist anymore. He is nothing but a puppet for a far more villainous bad guy, Eryth. Even though Claudia brought him back from the dead in the final scenes of Season 3, it is only reasonable to believe that he will only be a shadow of the person he used to be. Will he himself be changed? I don't know. But his authority, his legitimacy is gone. Thus, the threat he poses to our protagonists will be lessened, and the role of chief antagonist will go to other characters, including but not limited to Eryth. As such, there is a significant chance that everyone Viren holds in his coins will be released from captivity. This includes Rayla's parents as well as Runaan. In regards to who will be more likely to accept Callum and his relationship with Rayla, the answer is unsure. They're both probably going to be hesitant considering their dislike of humans, but Rayla's parents are more of a wild card. We don't know a lot about them at this point. We do, however, know a lot about Runaan. On the plus side, he cares about Rayla, and that care is sincere. There is never the sense that he is using her like Viren uses Claudia. He had nothing to gain by accepting Rayla, and yet he did so anyway. He deserves a lot of credit for that. However, his relationship with Rayla was never the most tender. The emotional repression that wreaks havoc on Rayla's psyche, preventing her from admitting her feelings for Callum until the midpoint of Season 3, the repression that prevents her from acknowledging the grief and guilt she feels when she believes Runaan is dead. All of that was not random. It did not come out of nowhere, conjured by some rogue wizard. It is the psychological consequence of how she was raised. How much of that is because of her parents and how much of that is because of Runaan is unsure. We don't know exactly how that can be doled out. Neither Runaan nor Rayla's parents are completely committed to emotional repression. They've all found at least one person they can open up to and confess their feelings toward and really be unguarded with. They're all married and they seem to trust their spouses intimately. What is much less of a question than their feelings about emotion is their feelings about humans. Runaan has no love for humans. He sees them as the enemy, and he is unlikely to compromise that stance. I doubt he will be willing to fight for peace between elves and humans, so committed is he to the elven cause. He certainly will not be in favor of a romantic relationship between a human prince and his surrogate daughter. Admittedly, his opinion of her is not high. When Rayla refuses to perform an assassination early in The Dragon Prince, Runaan chastises her, claiming that she put the entire team at risk. When he sees her in a relationship with Callum, he will not stop to consider her viewpoint. He won't stop to think that, hey, maybe she has a point. Instead, he will just think that she's a stupid kid who made a terrible mistake because she does not know any better. I also doubt he will like Callum as a person. Even if one were to set aside the centuries of prejudice and bigotry that exist in this universe between humans and elves, he would not take to Callum on a personal level. Runaan is a warrior first. His entire sense of identity revolves around fighting and warfare. That does not necessarily mean he cannot appreciate other ways of living. He did marry Athari, a much calmer and more peace-loving person than himself. If he were generous enough to give Callum the benefit of the doubt, he could easily identify parallels between his relationship with Athari and Callum's relationship with Rayla, with Runaan in the Rayla role and Athari in the Callum role. But he is unlikely to do this. Much of this comes down to his disdain for humans, but it is not just that. Athari is compassionate, but he's also poetic and graceful. Callum is not. Rather, Callum is awkward and stumbling. He means well, sure, but he is still exceptionally adolescent and clueless. Though he displays signs of one day growing into a thoughtful and able leader, albeit one who defies the typically masculine mold of, say, Soren or even King Harrow, he is not there yet. He still has a long way to go. At the start of the series, he had no idea who he was, and he is still learning. What Rayla sees as endearing, Runaan may see as absurd indicators of childishness. But now it is time to take all that anti-human prejudice we've bracketed away and bring it back into the fold. Runaan has no inclination to giving humans the benefit of the doubt, but even if he did, this inclination would likely benefit those closest to him. There is a long tradition of warriors on one side extending begrudging respect to those on another side, considering them worthy adversaries. Though they fight for different flags, there is a commonality in their work ethic, their dedication, their mindset. But Callum does not fit into that mold. He is not a traditional warrior. Runaan will likely have no use for him. He won't know what to do with Callum, and he won't understand why Rayla wants to be with him. He will see Rayla's love for Callum as a weakness. To be honest, I doubt Rayla and Callum will be able to convince Runaan to love or even like Callum. But if Callum proves his strength and his heart, he might be able to convince Runaan not to hate him. If nothing else, that is his best chance. Runaan respects decisive action, and Callum can act decisively when he wants to. So thank you all for watching. If you'd like what you saw today, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Donate to my Patreon if you can, and you want to see more videos like this. Keep watching The Dragon Prince. It is a brilliant show, so clever, so evocative, so mesmerizing, and only getting better with time. I can't wait for Season 4 and beyond. Tune in soon for my next analysis. It will be coming soon. Promise you that. Thank you all again. Adios, comrades.